Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Inside. Today we're looking at Battle Ball. This is a game of future football. It has a giant 20 by 44 inch game board, 22 detailed miniatures, and a rule sheet and a bunch of funky dice. It's aimed at ages 8 and up, and for 2 players from Milton Bradley. Let's see when this came out. This came out in 2003. There's the back of the box. It's upside down. I found this at Goodwill, and I got it real cheap. I got it for $2, and it happens to be complete as near as I can tell. And you can hear all the bits rolling around. So let's see what we got here. All right, we got a rule sheet. Now this is the important bit because it's only about 7 pages long, really. But it's got all your rules on it, what the people do, how the football works. I think the actual football piece is missing from my copy, but I think that's the only thing, so we're not going to see that, but you can substitute that with pretty much anything. So the rules are very self-explanatory. It's a very simple game. There's not much to it. If you've ever played Blood Bowl, it's not that dissimilar to Blood Bowl. So now you've got your minis here. Let's take a look at those. You got a couple of big guys. You'll notice that the colors of the bases are different, which denote what their occupation is. So we got the yellows, we got the greens, we've got blue and red, and we've got black. So everybody has a specific goal that they're supposed to be doing, and we know what they are based on that. And there's just basically 2 teams, and you pick a team, and you play them. There's blue and red. They're kind of funky looking. But there's a lot of them, and they do look pretty cool. So let's see what we got here. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22. All the figures are here. Then we've got some polyhedral dice. Nice set of those. The D20... D10, no D, yeah, there's a D12. Yep. 12, 20, 10, 8, a couple of 20s, I guess. And there's 4 D6s in here, which I think is all you need. And then there's a D5, which looks like a football, which I think is a scatter dice, most likely. Alright, so that's the pieces. This piece, this football-shaped D5 is probably the one that would be the hardest to replace. These are all standard polyhedrals. You probably already have a couple sets of those. If not, I suggest getting them. They're great to have around for various board games. D6s, pretty much most board games have at least one. So the 6-siders you'll be able to find easy. Polyhedrals, you can find those at any hobby shop, online, real cheap. This D5 though, you might have a little more trouble with. You could probably find one on eBay out of China. Probably cost you $2. I don't think it would cost much more than a couple dollars. But let's move the figures aside so we can look at the board. Alright, first we have the black hearts. This is the staging area for the team. Then there's team rules. And then there's the Iron Wolves regulation play. They both have a regulation play side. And then the team rules side. So the Iron Wolves are blue, the Black Hearts are red. And these will be on the sidelines where you keep your guys in reserve, that sort of thing. And then the board is 3 sections of this that fold out, and they are interlocking pieces. So it's a big board, and very similar to Blood Bowl in that respect too. You do get a nice sized board. This is the Iron Wolves, and down here is the Black Hearts, and then there's the middle piece. Then there's also these little damage type markers. There's looks like about a dozen of them. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. I got 21 of them, so there's probably supposed to be 22. It's usually an even number with these things, but if you got most of them, you can always photocopy a few and make replacement pieces. And then there's the box insert. This at one time had been puffed up and pieces had been underneath it, but pretty irrelevant. So that is quite a lot to this, actually. I think this was a fun game. I played it a few times back in the day. It's not Blood Bowl. It's a much more simplified version with a lot fewer rules, only 2 teams, and they're all the same race. So it's kind of like Blood Bowl for non-nerds. So people that aren't very fun, generally speaking. But the figures do look really cool. They are pretty solid plastic. They stand up really well. I'm actually really impressed with the figures. I forgot how good a quality these were. And it was put out by Milton Bradley, so it is a pretty well done game. It's not a garbage game that you're just going to be like, oh look, this game's fun once. This one actually, you know, it requires a little bit of strategy, and there's not a lot of special rules, so that's good, so you can get younger people to play it. It is aimed at ages 8 and up, so if you want your kid to get into like a Blood Bowl type game, this would be a great softener to warm them up, especially with younger kids that may not be able to understand and formulate strategy based on a lot of different special rules. This would be a good compromise that would let you have fun, and they would be able to understand it and play as well. So yeah, this is Battle Ball, the game. As you can see, I paid $2 for it. Yeah, I would check for this at thrift shops. I know you can buy it online. Usually goes for less than $20, at least as of this recording in 2017. But it comes with 22 painted miniatures. You get the massive game board. The game board is huge. So there's that. And it's a pretty straightforward, simple game. There's not a lot to it that's very difficult. It's really easy. The only thing I'm missing here is the football. Otherwise, it's complete. And the figures look pretty cool. I do like them. They are fairly heavy. They're a little better than Mage Knight as far as quality goes. And they're a little taller, too. These are a little bit over 25 millimeter. The regular standard guy is about 25 millimeter. But there are a few bigger ones. So these are about the size of Space Marine figures from 40K. So yeah, that's what's inside Battle Ball, the game. Be sure to check it out. You might be surprised at how fun this can be. Otherwise, that'll do it for this episode. As always, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time on What's Inside.